Guys, it's Tina and I am back, and I am here with a very exciting video for me, and that is a review and swatch video for the Urban Decay Moondust Eyeshadow Palette. I did a swatch video for the Moondust eyeshadows that were existent in their current range, the 15 shades that were available, and I did that as a preempted video for this palette that was gonna debut, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on this palette. And to my surprise, because I wasn't even paying attention, I wasn't aware, like, you know, you see promo pics and you're like, oh yes, I saw the palette, and that was all I saw. Tunnel vision, I was done. I didn't realize that they were also releasing 8 new exclusive singles, new exclusive Moondust eyeshadows on the Urban Decay website as well. And when I went to get the Moondust palette, I saw these and I was like, oh yes, please add to cart. And so I have the Moondust palette as well as the 8 exclusive shades, the new exclusive shades on urbandecay.com, and I'm going to share the swatches of all of them for you so you can see them in all their glittery glory. So let's go ahead as usual and jump into the swatches first, because I know that's what you're here for, and then we'll go ahead and do the review. Here's a look at the overall Moondust eyeshadow palette, starting out with the shades Spectre and Element. Then we have Magnetic and Light Year, followed by Granite and Lithium, and then last up we have Vega and Galaxy. As usual, I'm going to be doing my swatches over a very light layer of primer, and I'm going to be using my Kat Von D Shade and Light eyeshadow brush for the swatches. The first shade up is Spectre. This one is described as a soft pink with tonal sparkle. This one is a very light, almost peachy pink with pink and yellow gold sparkle to it. Then we have Element, which is described as a peach with pink shift and sparkle. Element is a beautiful, almost coppery orange shade with pink duochrome and then a ton of pink and yellow gold sparkle. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then we have Magnetic, which is described as a purple with blue sparkle. Magnetic is kind of a dirty grape purple with light blue shimmer and sparkle. Then we have the shade Light Year, which is described as a vibrant green with tonal sparkle. This one is a bold grass green shade with icy light blue and then grass green sparkle to it. And then we have Granite, which is described as a black with multicolor sparkle. This one is a sooty dark gray black shade with golden and silver sparkle to it. That one would make a really great smoky eye. And then we have Lithium, which is described as a brown with iridescent 3D sparkle. Lithium is like a dark chocolatey brown shade with gold, pink, silver, and some different iridescent sparkle to it. It's a really gorgeous neutral shade because it has those different shifts of color to it. And then we have Vega. Vega is described as a bright blue with tonal sparkle. Vega is more of a medium toned blue shade with blue sparkle and a little bit of lighter blue sparkle to it as well. This one is another gorgeous colorful glitter shade. And then last up we have Galaxy, which is described as smoky blue-gray with iridescent 3D sparkle. Galaxy is a stunning sooty gray base with blue, teal, silver, and golden sparkle to it. It's a really gorgeous shade. It has that multi-dimension to it, and it would make a great smoky eye as well as go for a pop of color because it has that blue shift to it. That one is really, really gorgeous. And here again are the 8 shades from the palette, and I am absolutely in love with all of these shades. They're nice, bold pops of color here, but we have a neutral tone, we have some smoky tones, and we have a very light pinky shade as well for a very subtle look. I really love the selection that they made here, and the shades are different enough from the existing collection that this palette makes it worth it. Even though I personally have all 15 of the existing shades, this palette is so diverse and so different from that this makes it worth it. And with the pops of colorful shades, I am just absolutely in love. Moving on to the 8 new single Moondust eyeshadows that are available exclusively on urbandecay.com. First up, we have the shade Vape, which is described as a light pink mauve with pink and silver sparkle. And that is exactly what it is. It's a very light pinky silvery shade, and it's so beautiful to look at. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it applies very smoothly. It's not as chunky as the other shades. The shade Chemtrail. This one is described as an oyster gray with iridescent sparkle. Chemtrail is a beigey nude shade with iridescent silver, purple, and light pink shift to it. Oh my god, such a beautiful shade for a neutral look as well. And it's a little bit more toned down than Vape. Then next we have the shade Dark Cloud. This one is described as a smoky gray with pink sparkle. This one is a dirty, almost olive gray shade with pink and purple and silver and gold sparkle to it. Really gorgeous as well. Then we have the shade Stellar, which is a gold with red shift and tonal sparkle. This one is a bright yellow gold shade with like a pinky red base to it and then yellow gold sparkle. It's a very interesting and different shade. It's not quite a red brown base as you can see in different brands, or even in Urban Decay they have a red brown shade. This one definitely has more of a pinky red undertone. It's really different, really unique. Then here we have Horizon, which is a rose gold with pink and gold sparkle. Horizon is more like a dirty rose shade with yellow gold and lighter pink sparkle. It's a nice shade, but somehow I'm not immediately drawn to it. I have to play with that one a little bit more. Now here we have Crux, which is a smoky teal with multicolored sparkle. Crux is so beautiful. It's like a bluish purple base with yellow gold, green, and teal sparkle to it. It's really beautiful. It's actually a very unique shade, and it's intense in color while still being a little bit muted, so I really enjoy this one. And then here we have Skywalk, which is a blue with silver sparkle. Skywalk is kind of a lavender light sky blue with silver sparkle to it. Another gorgeous one, and this one has a little bit of a purple iridescence to it as well. And then last up we have the shade Gamma Ray, which is a bright blue with iridescent sparkle. Gamma Ray is a rich navy blue shade with, again, that blue sparkle to it and a little bit of purple iridescence that makes it so gorgeous. I love this shade again, and you can see the differences of this color against the other blues in the collection and up against the one in the palette. So here again are the 8 new exclusive shades of Moondust eyeshadow that are available on urbandecay.com. And these 3 blue and teal shades are to die for. I absolutely love them. And then I love that they added these 4 neutral shades. These are more neutral wearable colors for everyday looks. And then this nice different pop of bright gold with that pinky red undertone. Really beautiful shades, and I think these are a great addition to the collection. Alright guys, so now that you have seen the swatches and all these eyeshadows in their glittery glory, let's go ahead and jump into the review. And my review is going to be very similar to my previous review, so if you saw that video, I still feel the same way about these eyeshadows, but I do have a couple more points I want to add to that. But as usual, the first thing I like to talk about is the price. And for the palette itself, which has 8 eyeshadows, this is $49, and you do get 8 of these eyeshadows at 0.7 grams or 0.02 ounces, which is about less than a half of the size of a single eyeshadow. So you're getting a little bit under 4 shades in the palette for the $49, and each of the single Moondust eyeshadows are $21. So you are paying a little bit over the price of 2 of the single eyeshadows for the same product as you would get in about 4 of the eyeshadows. So you're getting a value here for your money, and you're getting 8 shades to choose from. And since these shades are glittery shades that you're going to probably use as an accent, you're probably going to use all over the eyelids, you probably won't go through them as quickly as you would, say, a neutral palette that you would use daily. Since these are more special occasion eyeshadows, you probably wouldn't go through this as quickly, so you definitely are getting value here for your money. And as I mentioned, each of the eyeshadows are $21, which is a steep price for 0.05 ounces of product, which is the size of a small eyeshadow. You're not getting a lot of product here. But again, it's kind of that luxury product that you would get because you really love how it looks. It's not an everyday product. It's one of those things that you have to be into glitter and into this kind of formula to really get these eyeshadows. And honestly, I think you can get the palette, get more value for your money, and you get a great selection of shades to choose from. You have colorful shades, you have neutral shades, you have smoky shades. And this to me is definitely a better value for money. As I mentioned in my previous video, this is definitely a better value for your money. But if you're looking for more neutral shades or you're looking for different colored shades, then that's going to be in the single eyeshadow range, which can get very pricey. I personally would recommend looking into these and swatching them and getting maybe 1 or 2 shades to play with. I wouldn't jump in head first unless you're truly in love, because the price point, it's very steep and I think they are a bit overpriced. I will be honest with you, but it's like, what are you gonna do? It's already what it is. So if you truly love these, you're gonna get them anyway. But if you're just, you know, dabbling in glitter, I think you should just go ahead and grab the palette for more value for your buck. Now let's go ahead and talk about the packaging, and I'll just quickly run through the single eyeshadows. It's the same packaging as the existing eyeshadows and the existing Moondust shadows. They come in these little silver pots with the Urban Decay logo. They pop out. If you push them up from the bottom, they do pop. Whoops, and that fell. They do pop out, and you can place them in their palettes and have a palette of Moondust shadows. But if you want to see like how these work, just check out the previous review, and you can check out the other shades available as well, and I'll link that down below. But what we're really here for is the Moondust palette, and oh my god, the box. First of all, it's a intergalactic glory. It's like a galaxy burst of glitter and holographic goodness. Oh, they have Moondust printed in silver, and it's a holographic silver and Urban Decay, of course. And then on the back they have the different shades, again in holographic finish. They have the names, they have the information on the back. It says, we hit the big 2-0 and we're in the mood to party. Bring on the Moondust. Inside you'll find 8 new shades, including Element, an amazing peach, Lightyear, a vibrant green, and Galaxy, a smoky blue gray. These ultra sophisticated shadows contain microfine bits of iridescent sparkle and lush 3D metallics for an effect that's out of this world. Tip: we recommend applying Moondust with your fingers, and for extra intense payout, apply it wet and blend out the edges with a dry brush. So they do give you application tips on the back of the packaging, which I think is actually a good touch. And then they have the ingredient list on the sides of the palette. And these contain dimethicone, they have slip-in agents, they have talc, silica, and different color agents as well, which I like that. And, you know, of course, preservatives. And then the actual palette itself is divine. It is a glittery silver gunmetal finish, and the glitter is not textured, so you feel a little bit of texture, but it's not a loose glitter that is going to come off on your hands as you rub over it. And then the palette name Moondust is embossed into the actual lid itself, and it's a mirrored finish, so it's actually a mirror behind the lettering, and Urban Decay is just a raised logo on top. And then on the back it just has size information, and it says 24 months once you open the packaging. You can use this for 24 months, which I think is really great, that the shelf life or the use life of this is 24 months. That's a full 2 years. They're telling you you're good to go for using this palette. I think that is great. Now you open the palette, there's a little cutout. You open the palette, it is magnetized, so it's secured by a magnet, and it's a pretty strong magnet, which I really like. And this is a hard plastic palette, so it is a really sturdy palette, and it has a mirror inside, a full-size mirror in the lid, and the lid does rotate a full 180, so you can prop it up and use it to apply your makeup. I think this mirror is really great, and I love that they have it where it actually has a hinge that holds it up, so you can angle it and apply your eyeshadows at your leisure. And then, you know, they have a little protective film that you peel off. And then in the bottom you have the eyeshadows, and the names of the eyeshadows are actually printed on the palette, which I think was a great touch. And it's just on a plain black backend. And we have the 8 shades laid out in 2 rows of 4. And I just love the packaging of this palette. Like, I think they couldn't have done a better job of designing this palette. With the glitter, it's good that they used plastic, so you can just easily clean the palette when you get a lot of the fallout and the excess glitter floating around. You can just easily clean the palette off. And it's finished in glitter anyway, so no one's going to be able to tell if it's the eyeshadow or just the finish of the palette. I just really love the packaging, and it's a medium-sized palette. It's not too large, it's not too small, but it's not a very thin palette. That's the only thing. It's not thin and sleek, but they probably did that so that the eyeshadows won't break easily, which I can appreciate. But overall, I think the packaging from me gets an A+ for this. It's so beautifully done. Good job, Urban Decay. Now, of course, let's go ahead and talk about the performance of these eyeshadows and the shade selection. I think they did a phenomenal job of selecting the shades in this palette. There are some bold colors, some smoky colors. You have this coppery shade and this light pink shade. You have some shades that you can wear for every day, for smoky looks, and then colorful looks as well, which I really appreciate. I just think they could have included another neutral shade for everyday wear so people could get more use out of it. But all in all, I really love the shade selection. And then the singles that debuted as well. We have a few bright pops of color, and they are different from the existing shades, so you won't be replicating the colors. They have different color shifting particles, different 3D effects. I just think the color selection is beautiful. And when I thought, oh, you know, all I needed was some blues and some purples, maybe some greens in the existing collection, they came out and just blew me away and really rounded out the entire collection. They tossed in some more neutrals, some more smoky shades, and some bright pops of color. So I think all in all, the shade selection is phenomenal. Now, as I mentioned, there are 8 shades that are exclusive to urbandecay.com. So these new shades, if you want these shades, they're only available on urbandecay.com. But the palette itself is available for sale on the Urban Decay website. It's also available at Sephora and Ulta. So get your hands on it. Absolutely love that palette. With Sephora, you do get Beauty Insider points, and then for Ulta you also get reward points, but that one stacks up to money back, which I prefer the Ulta rewards program because you get money off a purchase. Like, who doesn't love that? So I prefer the Ulta discount. And then, of course, if you shop online, definitely remember to use EBATES. I'll leave my link, my referral link below. I get a commission and you get a cut, so it's like win-win for both of us. But definitely use EBATES if you're shopping online. Even if you don't use my link, definitely I recommend using EBATES so you can get money back. Sephora tends to have a higher money back than Ulta, but right now Ulta is at 3% and Sephora is at 4%, so they're not that different. But as I mentioned, Ulta rewards program, I just prefer that. Urban Decay doesn't have EBATES, so if you're going to purchase the eyeshadows off of urbandecay.com, you're just not going to get EBATES with that. Now, as far as the product and performance, I feel the same way about them as I feel about the existing shades. They are a messy product to work with. Right out the gate, I'm not even going to, you know, pull your leg. They're messy to work with, as any glitter would be. So you have to be patient. You have to have your skills down pat. And they recommend using your finger to tap these onto the lid or using them wet. And I think one of the greatest ways to use them is use them wet. I do have the shade Skywalk right now on my inner tear duct. I didn't do a tutorial for this, guys. I was just playing around and I ended up with this and I'm just like, go for it. But I do have Skywalk on my inner tear duct area, and I applied it using my Lit Cosmetics Clearly Liquid Glitter Base. And it's there, it's pigmented, there are no gaps. Like, you can have with loose glitter, you can have gaps. These don't have gaps, and that's what I like about them, because they have kind of a sheer eyeshadow base to them. It's not really a smooth eyeshadow, but like a finer texture eyeshadow underneath the glitter that makes them more opaque and will completely cover your lid if you use them wet or use them with a sticky primer, which I really appreciate, because with loose glitter, sometimes you want to do a full lid of glitter and the glitter just will leave little gaps that don't really blend, don't really, you know, they're not cohesive with the entire look. But with these Moondust shadows, they're glitter, they're going to give you the full glitter fantastic sparkliness of a glitter, but it's going to give you the opacity that you're looking for from an eyeshadow. So I really like that, and I do recommend using these with a stiff brush. I like it with my Kat Von D eyeshadow brush, the stiffer dome brush, to really pack on the shade. And using them damp or using them with a liquid glitter adhesive like the Lit Cosmetics one is really good too, to help them to stick to the lid and really give you good color payoff. You can also use the Too Faced glitter glue. That's a good glitter base as well. But again, they're a trickier product to work with. They are glitter. They're pressed glitter with a nice base under them that makes them a little bit more functional for me than loose glitter. But they're still messy to work with. You will get glitter all over the place unless you really work with them well and use a good glitter adhesive. So they're tricky, they're messy, they're glitter, and if you're not into that, don't even look at these at all. Don't even try it. Just trust me on this. Don't even look at them, because they're not gonna be worth your time if you can't be bothered with glitter flying all over the place and clean up. But if you are into glitter, if you're into beautiful shades, if you're into sparkly goodness, oh my god, these are gonna take your breath away. And the singles paired with the palette, oh my god, they're so pretty, and I love them, and I'm glad I have them, and I just can't wait to play. And I am so happy that they're now colorful shades. What? I have colorful green glitter and blue glitter, hello. And this coppery, I want to use this so bad. Element, so pretty, oh my god. But I am so happy with these. I am extremely happy with them. But there are nuances, and I know there are people that aren't gonna like these. So I'm warning you now. If you're not into messy colors, if you're not into working with products a lot, these are not gonna be for you. But if you're into glitter and you know how to work your glitter, these are phenomenal. And I think because of that base to them, it makes them much better than a loose glitter. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've tried these out and what your thoughts are. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.